You tell yourself it's about prudence, a simple, intelligent rule for a dangerous world. When you get rich, don't tell anyone. You see it as a high wall you build around your success, a fortress to protect what you've earned from the grasping hands and envious eyes of the crowd. But this is a lie, a convenient story you whisper to yourself in the dark when the silence gets too loud. That wall is not a fortress. It is the first bar of a cage you are building for yourself, piece by golden piece. You are not protecting your wealth. You are hiding your fragility. You think you fear their envy, their greed, their judgment. But what you truly fear is their gaze. You are terrified that if they look too closely, for too long, they will see the trembling imposter behind the curtain, the scared child hoarding toys in a corner, convinced they will all be taken away. Your silence isn't strength, it's the architecture of your own prison. This is the game your mind forces you to play, an impossible, exhausting race where the finish line is a paradox. You desperately crave the validation that comes with success, the quiet nod of respect, the visible proof that you have won. But you are utterly terrified of the visibility required to receive it. And you know this. The trophy you chase is also the guillotine you fear, because to be seen is to be judged. This isn't a calculated risk. It's the panicked echo of a much deeper wound, the gnawing certainty that you are a fraud and that your success was an accident. If this is tearing down the walls inside you, then you know what you have to do. Subscribe, comment, share this, not as a favor, but as a reminder to yourself of what you are finally choosing to see. You fall into the pattern, hiding your wins and living in a constant low-grade paranoia, confusing the lonely silence of your self-made vault with the feeling of being in control. You stand alone in your house of mirrors, applauded only by your own reflection, crafting the exact emptiness you worked so hard to escape. The justification begins as a whisper, a story you tell yourself about the world. You paint a picture of a ravenous crowd, a sea of grasping hands and envious eyes, and you cast yourself as the wise survivor, the one who saw the danger and built a fortress. This story is your shield. It makes your isolation feel like intelligence, your paranoia like prudence. You meticulously rehearse the lies you will tell, the casual deflections, the carefully crafted image of someone who is doing just fine. You become an actor in your own life, playing the part of someone you no longer are, and you tell yourself this performance is for your own protection. But that's a lie. You are not protecting yourself from them, you are protecting yourself from the terrifying vulnerability of being known. Each calculated omission, each deflected question is another stone in the wall you build not around your wealth, but around your heart. Your silence isn't a strategy. It's the slow, methodical erasure of your own reflection in the eyes of others. Then the mechanism refines itself, turning your gaze outward into a weapon against yourself. From behind the one-way mirror of your self-imposed exile, you become a silent observer of a world you no longer belong to. You watch friends celebrate small triumphs, a modest raise, a new apartment, and you feel a toxic cocktail of pity and superiority. You tell yourself their joy is fragile, naive, a product of their ignorance. You are the one who sees the truth. And you know this. This judgment is the anesthetic you use to numb the pain of your own loneliness. Every time you offer a hollow compliment, every time you swallow the generous impulse that would expose you, you are reinforcing the belief that you are fundamentally, irrevocably separate. You are not protecting them from the complexities of your life. You are protecting the fragile fiction of your own strength from the mirror of their simple shared humanity. You are not a guardian of a fortune. You have become the warden of an empty kingdom. And this is where it all collapses inward. The silence you so carefully constructed to keep the world out becomes a vacuum that devours you from within. Your wealth, now a cold and sterile god, offers no comfort. It cannot hold a conversation, it cannot share a laugh, it cannot look you in the eyes and tell you that you are enough. It just sits there, a glittering monument to everything you have sacrificed. So you begin to perform strange, lonely rituals. You scroll through your accounts in the dark, the numbers a fleeting and hollow substitute for a human touch. You buy things you can't show anyone, trophies for a victory no one will ever celebrate. The thing you thought would give you freedom has instead become your identity, and it's an identity that can only be sustained in absolute solitude. You are no longer a person who possesses wealth. You are a secret that is possessed by it. You watch them, the great rushing river of them, and you see the lie you tell yourself reflected in their every move. They chant the mantra as if it were scripture. Don't tell anyone. They post pictures of their coffee, their laptop, their hustle, but never the balance sheet. It's a carefully curated performance of striving, designed to elicit admiration without provoking envy. You see it in their nervous laughter when someone asks about their salary, the way their eyes dart away, the quick, practiced deflection. They are all running the same race, hiding their wins behind a thin veil of humility. And you tell yourself you are different. You tell yourself your silence is strategic, while theirs is just fear. But that's a lie. You are not their opposite. You are their final, perfected form. You have taken their clumsy game of hide-and-seek and turned it into a masterpiece of self-erasure. Their fear is a whisper. Yours is the roaring silence that defines your world. Then you see the ritual up close. The family dinner, the friend's barbecue, the office party. Someone announces a small victory, a modest raise, a down payment on a small house, and the crowd erupts in practiced, predictable applause. It is a safe celebration, a communal agreement to only acknowledge the successes that do not disturb the fragile ecosystem of the group. Everyone plays their part, reinforcing the unspoken rule: do not show us anything that will force us to see ourselves as less. And you play along. You clap, you smile, you offer the hollow congratulations. But you are not one of them. You are an anthropologist studying a tribe you can no longer join. You see the machinery of their shared delusion, and you recognize it because you built a far more powerful version for yourself. And you know this. Their small deceptions are a shield. Your great one is a tomb. From this vantage point of lonely observation, a cold superiority begins to crystallize within you. You watch them chase their small, approved-of prizes, and you mistake your paranoia for foresight, your isolation for elevation. They are children playing in a sandbox, carefully sharing their plastic toys, while you are the dragon hoarding a mountain of gold in a dark cave. You believe your fear is more profound, your burden more significant, your silence more meaningful. This is the most dangerous illusion of all. The story that you are separate, that you are above the fray, that you have transcended their petty concerns. But you haven't transcended anything. You've just locked the door from the inside. They are running in circles together, blinded by the dust they kick up. You are standing perfectly still in a silent, dark room, staring at the reflection of a monster you created. You are not the exception to the crowd. You are its cautionary tale. That title is not advice. It is the operating manual for your own disappearance. You tell yourself the silence is a shield for your money, a smart play in a greedy world. But that's a lie. The silence is a cage for your terror, the one you cannot name, the gnawing, septic fear that you are a fraud. And you know this. You believe your success was a fluke, a cosmic error, a costume you found and put on. Your real fear is not that they will reach for your wallet. It is that they will look you in the eye and see the terrified child underneath the expensive clothes, the imposter who doesn't know the lines. This is the truth you run from in the long, dark corridors of your mind. You aren't protecting your fortune from their envy. You are protecting the illusion of your worth from their perception. Your silence is the last line of defense for a self you don't believe in. So you perform the dance of the ghost. You crave their approval more than you crave the money itself, the recognition, the nod that says you made it. But you are paralyzed by the visibility that approval requires. To be seen is to be judged. And you have already judged yourself and found yourself guilty. This is the engine of your suffering. Every conversation becomes a minefield, every question a potential accusation. You rehearse your lines of deflection, your casual downplaying, your carefully constructed mediocrity, because letting the truth slip out feels like confessing to a crime you can't articulate. But the crime is simply being you, with all the luck and terror that entails. This isn't a strategy for wealth preservation. It's a desperate, exhausting performance to keep the world from seeing the hollow man behind the curtain. You are not guarding a treasure. You are serving a life sentence in a prison of your own design. And here is the final price, the one the manual never mentions. The silence doesn't just keep them out, it starves you from the inside. It turns connection into a transaction, love into a liability. You sit at a table with people you care about, and a wall of glass stands between you. You hear their struggles, their small joys, and you cannot reach through. Because your truth has become a poison you cannot share. But that's a lie. It's not a poison, it's just a weight you chose to carry alone. This is the great irony. The money that was supposed to buy you freedom has instead purchased your isolation. It has become a ghost that haunts every relationship, a secret that hollows out every moment of genuine intimacy. You didn't just hide your wealth from the world, you hid your heart from yourself, and now you can no longer find it. Imagine yourself at the table, the worn fabric of that old coat a familiar weight on your shoulders. It is your costume, your shield. Around you, the easy laughter of family, the clinking of glasses, a world you watch from behind a thick pane of glass. Then your sister, her face bright with a small, fragile joy, announces her raise.
It's a tiny victory in the grand scheme of things, barely enough to make a difference, but the room erupts in genuine warmth. And for a moment, you feel it too, a pure, uncomplicated pride that rises in your chest. But it is immediately followed by a chilling wave of cold that has nothing to do with the temperature in the room. It's the cold of the vault where you keep your real life hidden. You smile, you clap, you perform the part of someone who shares in this small, manageable success. But it's a lie. You are a ghost at their feast, your pockets heavy with a truth that would shatter their world, and yours. You excuse yourself, the murmur of their voices fading as you walk down a short hallway that feels miles long. The bathroom mirror shows you a stranger's face, an imposter. The fluorescent light is unforgiving, exposing every line of tension you hold, every flicker of fear in your eyes. You know you could end her struggle with a single signature, a quiet conversation, a simple transfer of numbers. You could erase all her worries, and you know this. But the thought doesn't bring a feeling of power. It brings a wave of pure, nauseating terror. The fear is not of losing the money. It's the fear of the question that would follow. Who have you become? To reveal your wealth would be to reveal the chasm that has opened between you and them, to expose the person you've been pretending not to be. You are not protecting your fortune, you are protecting yourself from the judgment in their eyes, which is only a reflection of your own. Your generosity is held hostage by your shame. You return to the table, the mask perfectly back in place. You say nothing. The moment has passed, and your silence has sealed it shut. The fortune that was meant to be your liberation has become a dirty secret, a heavy stone in your gut that you must carry into every room, to every celebration. You listen to her talk about her plans, the small dreams that your secret could make real in an instant, and the distance between you becomes an uncrossable ocean. This is the ultimate price of your prudence. It's not their envy you have to manage. It's this corrosive loneliness, this self-inflicted exile from the people you love. You chose silence to feel safe, but the safety is just the cold, hard wall of a tomb you built for yourself. The money didn't set you free. It revealed the coward you were all along, and then it locked the door behind you. You close your eyes, but you are not in a quiet room. You are standing in the vault of your own mind, and the walls are not made of steel, but of mirrors. Infinite one-way mirrors. You can see out, but nothing can see in. The title is the combination you dial every morning, the sequence of numbers that locks you inside with yourself. And you pace. You walk down endless corridors lined with your own reflection, each one showing you the same haunted face, the same question in the eyes. Is it enough yet? You check the numbers, the digital glow a poor substitute for sunlight. And then you look back at the reflection. But that's a lie. You are not checking your wealth. You are checking for cracks in your performance, searching for the flaw that will give you away. This is the real work of your life now, the constant, exhausting surveillance of the fraud you believe yourself to be. The prison guard is you, and the only inmate is also you. The silence in this vault is not peace. It is the sound of a universe collapsing into a single point of fear. Every door you try leads back to the same hallway, the same reflection, the same cold, hard numbers that offer no warmth. You told yourself this was protection, but you didn't build a fortress to keep others out. You built a cage to starve a part of yourself to death, the part that won, the part that dared to want more. And you know this. You visit it like a prisoner, whispering the words of the title through the bars as if they were a justification for its slow demise. You have abandoned the successful self in the dark, punishing it for the crime of making you visible, for making you vulnerable. This is the final truth of that simple advice. It is not a strategy for protecting your assets. It is the perfect instruction manual for how to abandon yourself at the height of your power. That phrase was never about the money. It was never about their greed, their envy, or the hungry world you imagined was waiting to tear you down. You made it about them because the alternative was unbearable. And you know this. The truth is, you didn't fear what they would do to your fortune. You feared what their gaze would do to the fragile architecture of your own self-worth. You were terrified they would look past the numbers, past the success, and see the hollow space inside you, the one you've been trying to fill with gold. This whole charade, this elaborate performance of silence and secrecy, was never a financial strategy. It was a desperate attempt to control the one thing you have no power over, how the world sees you. You turned your life into a fortress, not to protect what you have, but to hide what you fear you are not. The money was never the enemy. It was just the perfect, polished mirror to show you the coward you are already running from. So you told no one. You obeyed the rule as if it were a sacred vow. And in your obedience, you chose the vault over the world.
You chose the cold, sterile hum of security over the messy, unpredictable warmth of human connection. You thought you were protecting an asset, but you were amputating a part of your soul, the part that could give freely, the part that could be seen without flinching, the part that could love without calculating the risk. That title is not advice for the rich. It is the epitaph for the person you could have become. It is the perfect instruction for how to turn a life of abundance into a masterpiece of loneliness. You followed the rules, you won the game, and now you stand in the center of your silent kingdom, the sole ruler of an empire of one. And you must finally ask yourself what victory feels like from the inside of a tomb.